Hey guys, it's Kayla and I am back with another monthly wrap-up. These are the 20 books I read during the month of October. If you're new around here, you should definitely stick around and subscribe, and you should also go check out my Bookstagram and Book Talk and hang out around there too. That is it for this intro. Let's hop into all the books I read in October. Book number 1 is Dark Castle by Shayna Handel. I read every single book from this author. She's one of my absolute favorites, and Dark Castle was no exception. This was kind of the culmination of two different series, both the Russo and Rosa Royal series. I would say this book is not quite as spicy as a lot of her other ones, but there was a lot of plot to get through to kind of like wrap up all these series. There was a lot going on, and I just love this whole series, and it's a little bit mystical, a little bit magical, which I think is really fun. Really looking forward to her new Bachman series that's coming out early 2022. I cannot wait. That is one of my favorite series of all time, and we're getting some more books in that genre, in that series. I don't know, but I'm excited. Next, we have Three Sweet Nothings by Nikki Sloan. This is the 5th book in the Blindfolded Club series. I read the first 4 last month, and I absolutely love them. The 5th book was no exception. It was so good. This was Kyle and Ruby's story. It was so spicy, so good. I still have not read the 6th book because I do not want this series to be over. I love it so much. I love the characters. I love the idea of it. It's just so good, and I don't want it to be done. So I haven't read the 6th one, but we will get there. I also need to read her Filthy American series. I bought it recently so that I could power through it. Just need to find the time, but that will definitely be on my TBR. Book number 3 is Loner by Harlow Ray. I saw a snippet of this book on TikTok and I was immediately hooked and I had to read it. So download it, read it, I absolutely loved it. Talked about it before, but one of my favorite tropes ever is a grumpy man meets sunshiny child. It just melts my heart so much, and this book fit that to a T. Really loved Ford and Keegan's story. Definitely not super spicy, but a good enough spice for like a normal romance. I really enjoyed this whole book, and I'm definitely going to be reading more from this author. I actually did later on in the month. Book number 4 was the start of a series that I read all of in the month of October, so I'm just going to talk about the whole thing now. I read this in series by Macon March, and I actually listened to these as audiobooks, which I'm not the biggest fan of audiobooks, but I did really enjoy these ones. I liked the narration, and I just really loved the storyline. I did not know one series could have so many plot twists, but this one just like blew my mind over and over again. It was so good. There was spice, there was family drama, there was forbidden romance. It was just so good, and I loved it so much. I will definitely be reading more from this author in the future, and I'm more determined than ever to actually like audiobooks. These ones I really enjoyed, so I want to try and find some more with those same narrators because I really liked them. Book number 5 was The Dom's Deal by Harper West. This book was a marriage of convenience and BDSM, like Dom sub book. I did really enjoy Ash and Killian's story. I thought their chemistry was off the charts, and the spice was so good. Book 1 did end on a cliffhanger, and I didn't hop into book 2 because I got distracted by some new releases than arcs, so I just haven't gotten around to reading book 2 and 3, but I probably will hop back into them eventually because I want to know how their story ends. Next up is Bad Alpha by Catherine Moon. I read Lola and the Millionaires in September and absolutely loved that duet, and Bad Alpha is the newest release in that series. It focuses on Eve, who is mentioned in Lola and the Millionaires. She's just a bad bee. Love her character to death. I also loved Adam, the pack, all of it was just so good, and I definitely need to go read more of the books in this series because they're just phenomenal, and I'm really not an Omegaverse or like paranormal reader at all, but these ones are just so good. Okay, my next read was my first Jessica Cain novella, and I've heard many things about these books, and boy did no one disappoint me on these ones. I read Bulky by Jessica Cain. This was an age gap, best friend's father, forbidden romance. It was so wild and so spicy. Honestly, I feel like these novellas are just like a little bit cringe. You're like, what is happening? I don't know what's going on, but in such a good way. I really don't know how else to explain them. You just have to read one for yourself, and then I think you will understand, but so good. I will definitely be reading more of her novellas, and I did end up reading another one later on in this month, so we'll get to that. Next up is Bad Dream by Gianna Darling. This is a prequel novella to her book Dangerous Temptation, which came out in late October. You definitely need to read Bad Dream before reading Dangerous Temptation. It gives just a good intro to Bianca and Tiernan. It kind of explains Bianca's backstory a little bit more and how they come together. There's absolutely no spice in Bad Dream, just FYI, but it is like a prequel novella, so I feel like that's the one time I am accepting of it. And then I read Dangerous Temptation. I actually got this as an ARC from Valentine PR, and this book was so good. This is an age gap, forbidden romance, Guardian Ward story, and it is just so good and so wild. There's lots of banter, family drama. There is grumpy man melts for cute child. It's just so good. It does end on a cliffhanger. I think book 2 of this duet comes out in December. I think I'm literally gonna count down the days because I need to know what happens. Book number 10 is Tempting the Billionaire by J.A. Lowe. I absolutely love her book Paradise, so I decided to hop into more of her books, and this is book 1 in the Hartford Brothers series. This is a brother's best friend's romance. I really loved Audrey and Sterling's story, and I think it's really cool that her and her friends are like influencers, and kind of seeing the behind the scenes of that in a book I think is really cool. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I feel like it was really paced well. There was good banter, good spice, all of it I really enjoyed. Then I was really feeling a non-dark, like kind of normal-ish reverse harem, which people always think I'm crazy when I say that, but basically not like any darker themes throughout the book. Just a normal heroine and some normal heroes. Nothing dark, nothing too crazy, just some good old-fashioned reverse harem. And my favorite author for those types of books is Crystal Wolfe, and I read Wife to the Marines by her, and it was so good. This fit exactly what I wanted. I love Skylar, I love her character, and her Marines are just so sweet. They are so caring, and I just loved it so much. My only complaint was that there could have been more group activities between all 3 males and her, but I did really enjoy it, and there was still lots and lots of spice indeed. Just could have used maybe like a little bit more, or like one full group scene. Next, I read Playing the Player by J.A. Lowe. She very kindly sent this over as an ARC. It's out now on Kindle Unlimited, but this is book 2 in the Hartford Brothers series, and it's another brother's best friend romance. I did really like this book. There was just a lot of angst and like a lot of buildup, and I just was kind of like waiting for the happily ever after for a very long time. It does have a happily ever after, it just takes a minute to get there, and I could have used a little bit more of them together once they finally had their happily ever after. There was so much good banter and like spicy forbidden scenes, which I really enjoyed. I'll give a little trigger warning for cheating and a love triangle. I feel like this is like one of the only books I'm acceptable of both in. It was good, lots of angst, so just prepare yourself. Book 14 was another Jessica Cain novella. This was The Mobster's Masseuse. This book was an insta-love possessive mafia man book, and boy was it wild. Her books really pack in a lot in like not a lot of pages. They're all like under 100 pages, or at least 150, and they're just wild. But if you're looking for short, spicy, taboo romances, these are definitely it. I really thoroughly enjoyed them. Then we have Tease Me Once by Willow Winters. I also read this as an ARC thanks to Valentine PR, and wow, this book was so dark, so good. Declan Cross is the perfect possessive, morally gray fictional man we all need in our lives. Declan and Braylon's relationship, super spicy, has BDSM elements in it, and just wow, the ending of this book absolutely blew my mind. It does end on a cliffhanger, so like mentally prepare yourself for that, but wow, highly recommend this book, and I cannot wait for book 2 in this duet. Then I read There's Always Someday by Harlow Ray. Like I said, I went back to this author because I loved Loner so much, and this book was just as good, if not even better. I really loved Nolan and Clea's story. This was the perfect second chance neighbor romance. I loved it so much, and I love Tally's character so much. She was the perfect little side addition to this story, and just single dad spicy romance. It was so good. My only complaint about this book, and not even complaint, just like was totally unexpected, but I kept waiting for the second shoe to drop, like something else to go wrong, but it didn't happen, and it just kind of kept building and building in a good way. But I had like this horror pit in my stomach thinking something was going to go wrong again, but it never did. So they just get their happily ever after early. So if you're looking for that, if you like that, this is the book for you. And finally, book 18 through 20 of the month is the Lords of Pain series, or the Forced University series. This is a bully reverse harem college series, which normally is not my jam, but this is Fit Teacher Rachel's book club books of the month, so I had to give it at least a try, and I'm in the middle of book 2 right now, and just wow. Again, normally I'm not into the bully college reverse harems, but this one is really good, and I'm like constantly drawn into what's gonna happen next. I'm in the middle of book 2 right now, so I can't give like my complete feelings and thoughts on the series, but so far I really like it. It's very spicy, and you definitely need to check the trigger warnings on this one because lots of things go down, but so far I'm really liking it, and I'm just like really intrigued to know how this is all gonna end. And those are the 20 books I read in October. Not sure how many books I'll be able to read in November, traveling a lot for a wedding and then Thanksgiving, which I'm really looking forward to, but it might mess up my reading just a little bit. There are so many amazing books on my TBR, so I'm a little bit stressed about what exactly I'm gonna read, but I know there'll be more great books coming in November. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave any comments down below. That really supports my channel and helps my channel grow. And of course, if you're new, don't forget to stick around and subscribe here, and go check out my Bookstagram and Book Talk and follow me there too. That's gonna be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next one.